whether whatever works or doesn't work in our regular life, right? We know that every Saturday we can come here and receive nuggets, not just nuggets, but to be in a community, right? Community with fellow entrepreneurs we have different goals, but we're all going in the same direction, right? And it's good to have, people who are rooting for you, who are in the trenches with you, and understand how you're going through and how we're going to all get through to the other side together, right? Because it's one team, one dream, and you never want to run by yourself, right? And so I'm so grateful that Mr. and Mrs. Bean has brought this platform and still kept it for us, right? It's very much needed in at any time, right, in your life, that you have people, because it's not always a significant other or family members or people that surround us that are on that entrepreneurial journey as we are, right? So we want to be plugged in, and not just that, but the Grant Cardone has given what I said, the light bulb in in a in a crazy world of sales, right? And so let's go ahead and get started with our fabulous Crash Camp family, and let them share with us what they've seen throughout the weeks with the rally calls and the modules that they're able to get in, right? So who would like to share first? Miss Laura Johnson, since I see your beautiful face up there first, I'll go ahead and have you.
Well, great morning, Crash Camp family. So excited as always to be here on a sunny Saturday morning. Now, I am away from home this weekend. I hail from Furman, South Carolina, and this weekend I am visiting family in Charlotte, North Carolina. And guess what? I left my notes in South Carolina. However, the week has been so impactful. And one of the things that struck me about the different presenters this week is that they all spoke about who we are internally, who we have to be in terms of our attitude and what we are projecting to the individuals that we are speaking to, about whatever it is that we're speaking to, an opportunity or, because one thing that I've learned in the modules is that we are always selling. We're selling ideas. We're selling, if we're have traditional jobs, then at the jobs we are selling whatever it is that our position is representing. If we're in education, we're selling to our students. If we are in healthcare, we're selling to our patients or to our clients a level of wellness. So everything that we're learning in this arena is helping us in, like Miss Angel said, is helping us in every area of life. But one of the things they really focused on this week was who you are. Where are you coming from? Do you have a high level of belief in your own product so that you can speak from a position of confidence, a position of certainty? That's the word that they like to use a lot. And so what I know is that I've been participating in this program for well over 2 years, and it has just changed the way that I present always, all the time. I'm a traditional business owner. I run a company, and I have employees, and I have associates, and I have to be able to speak in a way that they understand, speak to their level. Not that people are intelligent or less intelligent, but on a way that they can understand, because everybody's perception is not the same. And I know that I speak with a higher level of certainty and confidence. And a lot of that has come from my experience here on GCU. So that's my that's my input for today, Miss Angel. So thank you very much for allowing me to share. And thank you so much for hosting as you do so phenomenally.
Well, thank you, Miss Laura Johnson. I love what you said, and thank you for knocking it out in the beginning, right? Being the first one to come out and really sharing. I love what you said with, attitude and projecting, right? Because attitude and projection is everything, really, right? It's going to be what is going to keep that person's attention on you and what you have to say next. Because you ever walk into and somebody just has you can just feel their bad attitude across the room and you just want to go in the opposite direction, right? You don't even entertain walking anywhere near them, right? And so what I love about that, what you just said, is that is everything. That is what that person will even stop to even listen to anything you say, is based on your attitude and what you're projecting. And a lot of times we don't know how we're projecting, right? And this program has really helped. When you actually go in and dive into the program and dive into the modules, there, like Miss Laura says, there's this aha moments when you're like, wow, I think I really do that. Not realizing that you are projecting some type of I wouldn't say like attitude. Sometimes it's just projecting objections, projecting some our limitations we didn't know that we were projecting. So it's really a program that's going to, and when we talk about self-development, I mean, like Miss Laura said, I've been in this since the inception. I guess we were all going towards that contest, right? At the same time, trying to compete, trying to get into this program for free in the beginning, and not knowing what we were in for, right? When we got into it. And the great thing is that, the uncertainty of something, but with Mr. and Mrs. Bean, we didn't know about the program, but we knew that whatever they brought to us was for a purpose, for a reason, and that we needed it, whether we know we needed it or not. Right? And so we just ran, based on that. And what has happened, I mean, transform, right? Transformation has been crazy. If you've been with us since this journey, I'm going to say 200%, I have changed, right? For the better, right? I can speak for myself, but I can see in our team, I can see Miss Laura Johnson's change, right? I can see Miss Carla Wynn's change. I can even see Siku, right? Who just started not too long ago. I've seen Kendrick, right? Like everyone that has been in the program and really, delving into it, utilizing it, we've seen the progression, and it's amazing to see, because that inspires me. Everyone on the roll call, from the person that just started and just had the courage to open, to even go on the rally calls. Like, we're talking about 300 people on the line, and Miss Marva is just gonna be brave enough to raise her hand and, and don't have it all together with 300 people, right? So when we talk about this is a safe place for you to learn, it is really a safe place, because the world out there is not going to give you a second chance, right? If you mess it up, they won't give you a second chance. So that's why this is so important, because here we get to role play, we get to learn and get out all the kinks before we take it to the next person, because you don't know who you're going to meet the minute you walk out that door, right? We know that you're just not that person that says hi to you down the hall, could be that person that's going to link you to whatever, to like 1,000 people. You have no idea. And that first impression of you could win or break a deal, right? Could have them just, like you said, bad attitude, like walk the other way. Like, oh no, head down. I don't really want to even conversate with this person, right? So I love that. And like she said, what we're learning here is we're learning to because when we first start, and I'm gonna say that this is my number one thing, that was I was just in tune to my radio, my wavelength, right? And so as you grow into this program, you're gonna know how to talk to people. Like she said, it's not smarter, it's not anything, it's just their wavelength, right? Everybody has a different wavelength, right? And so what we're learning how to do is speak on their wavelength, not on ours, not on what we think that they should be on, but what they really are on, like their channel, right? Their radio station, right? Everybody has a different tune, and we have to find out what it is and know how to handle it on their wavelength, right? And so it helps us to connect more. And like she said, the confidence and everything like that. So thank you for sharing that. That's a huge nugget. Who needs notes, right? You got it all up here. All right. Who is next to share our reflections for the week? I knew you were gonna go there, Miss Carla. I knew you had some audio issues, so here we go. What would you like? Take us away.
Great morning, everyone. Thank you so much. So I didn't get a chance to be on a lot of the rally calls this week. However, I did hone in on the modules, and the module that I focused on is getting people information, and how I implemented that this week. We had a minority and small business resource fair on campus. And so I, was meeting different potential employers because, as you know, next week I have that internship fair. So I was looking for potential employers who I had not been in touch with to invite them to the internship fair. So, in talking with some of the employers, there was one whom I had reached out to a couple of weeks ago, and they asked me, well, did so-and-so get back to you from Human Resources? And we talked, and, I was able to reconnect with some of those employers. And I had maybe at the beginning of the week, I was able to get up to 14 employers to enroll, to sign up for the internship fair. I have 8 more seats left. So, and then I was in training Thursday night and Friday, and just connecting with different people in the county that I work was very impactful as far as the skills that I learned and how I was able to connect with them. And just over the time that I've been involved with and been blessed to be involved with as a scholar of the GCU program, just seeing how I've grown. And now I'm in the training that I'm in is called the Hartford Leadership Academy. 2 years ago, when I attempted to get into the program, last year when I was attempted to get into the program, I was not accepted. I'm accepted this time. So thank you very much for allowing me to share.
All right. I love that. I love that success, success stories, right, from the GCU program, which is, which is what it's there for, to create you these success stories. And I love that. We've seen your growth, Miss Carla Wynn, and it's absolutely fantastic and amazing. I know how Mr. and Mrs. Bean feels when they see us, growing right now, because I feel that when I see you all, and inspiring me to do more, right? To be a better leader because of how you all have taken the program, and not just, it's not just here in the business arena with Mr. and Mrs. Bean, but taking it outside, right? Outside to your own respective, respective professions, and using it there, or using it in family. I have a 12-year-old that has been giving me testing my agreement drills, right? If you know what I mean, right? So it's in all areas of our lives. So, and that's the great thing, that what you just shared. I love that before the program, you didn't know what to do, right? But you had a clearer path to how to get into that program, right? Now you know exactly, and before, now you actually sold them on you, right? Because like Miss Laura said earlier, right? It's always a sell and buy situation. Always. Any interaction is always a buy or a sell. So you're either the one selling or you're the one buying, right? So the first time you went in there, they sold you that you were not going to be a part of this program. And you said, nope, I'm going to go. I'm going to get my GCU. I'm going to get it all together. And the second time you went and sold them, right? Like, I'm going to sell you on getting into this program. And you did it, right? And that's the attitude and the confidence, because now you know what your goal is, but you didn't have a vehicle, right? To know what to do to reach that goal. And so this GCU program is helping you how to be, how to be the one that's selling, not buying, right? On the transition, right? And I love that. So thank you for sharing that. And the whole program is both. So it's modules and it's rally calls. But what I love is that even if you're not on the rally calls, you still have the modules and the replays that you can go back and and do it when you don't, when time allows you, right? Because there's a lot of things in a day that doesn't, but you're still getting that daily dose of medicine, and that means that you're getting 1% better every single day, whether it's in the modules or in the live rally calls. Because I'm telling you, like 3 years into it, I'm always finding something new in the modules. There's never a time when I'm like, oh, I found it all. Like, that's not gonna happen. And I don't even think it's gonna happen anytime soon, right? We're always learning, and they're always adding too, right? There's always adding things into the module. So I love that. I mean, they have ebooks now, right, in there. So they're always continuing to add things, and we're always continuing to learn. So love that. Anybody else want to share their reflections for the week, or anything that pertains to what you've been finding out, right? Oh, CQ, there you go. How are you today, sir?
I am doing great. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm continuing to review John Maxwell's 360-Degree Leader book, and I just wanted to share this this phrase. It actually spells out the word influence: integrity, building relationships on trust; nurturing, care about people as individuals; faith, believing in people; listening, valuing what others have to say; understanding, seeing from their point of view; enlarging, helping others become bigger; navigating, assisting others through difficulties; connecting, initiating positive relationships; and empowering, giving them the power to lead. I've chosen to listen to this book multiple times every week and month, just to glean the different things. I took a lesson from you, Angel. You said that you don't just do one module once, you do it multiple times to glean all that you can. So what I found interesting from that part of his book, he's talking about that there's a challenge that all leaders have that are not the top dog, that they have to influence others from a position where they don't have authority. And so I found it fascinating that he particularly developed this particular phrase based off of each letter in the word influence. And that's what we're trying to do as we learn and grow, learn how to increase our influence with one another and with people that we want to impact their lives in a positive way. And that's what I'd like to share today.
Awesome. Well, that's a mic drop. Just that one word, right? Just that one word. That's all you had to share today, because that topic right there is it, right? And what we don't understand is influence is, you can influence, like you just shared, Sekou, from any standpoint. And we always just think that influence is, oh, well, I have to be at a certain level. I have to, make a certain amount of money. I have to live a certain amount of lifestyle so that I can influence people. But what the 360-degree book, which I love, 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 right? Mr. Bean and Mrs. Bean are, I would say, the epitome of that book to me, to be honest, right? When every single thing that you just read out, as the words for influence, right? Um, I just say, I just keep on thinking the beans, the beans, the beans, right? On every single one, because they encompass all of that you said. And everything that they've done is because they don't influence us in a position of power. They influence us in a in a leadership role, right? Because they lead us into it, right? With their and that's what I love about a 360-degree leader. And what I shared last week was that there are a lot of leaders out there, but very few 360-degree leaders, right? And I've seen a lot of leaders in my time. I've been with a lot of leaders in my time, and I'm going to say the only one that has come close to 360-degree leaders has been the Beans in my life so far. Now, maybe you all have other people in your lives that have hit that 360-degree leadership. I haven't until I met the Beans, right? And you won't know until you read that 360-degree leader that there is you could say it's a unicorn, right? That there is that there are leaders out there that hit that pinnacle. That's a pinnacle. And I didn't understand that you can have influence no matter where you are, right? You don't have to have everything, um, a position of power, I would say, right? That's what most people think, authority, power, when they think about influence. But you can, everybody here, like for instance, I'm giving you an example. Siku, you influence me. You're like out of the gate, most polished, first role play that I've ever seen, right? You were so polished on your very first role play, right? When you made some great points on your very first role play, and I was like, wow, right? You inspired me. So influence is also inspiration, right? And you can inspire anyone from any position that you do. It's just a choice of whether you choose to inspire yourself first, though, right? Because it has to be through you in order for it to manifest out of some, outwards, right? And so I love that. Yes, 360-degree leader is the book that all of us need to read in order to it's not just influence in a business um, in a business, environment, but our influence in our households, right? Our influence, how can we be that influence in our household, in everything we do, in our spiritual section, in our, in our philanthropy, right? And so that is going to help you become that full person, I would say, right? Grow into your purpose and what you can do and help others with. And that's what I love, everything that we do in here in the Grant Cardone and in the Foresight family is because of inspiration, of what others have been doing. And, and I say it all the time when people tell me like, oh my God, all this information, you're like blessing me, Angel. And I said, no, I had someone to bless me first. I'm just sharing the blessing to you now because I was able to be blessed by the beans, right? The access has blessed me. So now that I can go out there and bless others with that information. So, so thank you for sharing that. That's huge because influencing Like for me, I never knew that I could help influence by really delving into the GC program and helping others do that. Never thought that I would. You can ask Laura. I was the one hiding behind like Angel who. When they see me at events, they're like, oh, there goes Angel. Yeah, I'm in the corner somewhere, or I just zipped over there, right? And just hiding in my little corner, right? And not knowing um, that, you know, that I'm going to walk into my purpose one day because I found the 360-degree leader to follow, right? Because that's what they do. They influence you in a way to help you. It's not influencing you to tell you to do something, influencing you to grow. And sometimes it outgrows them, right? But they're happy to have you outgrow them if that's the case, right? And so that's what I love about what you just shared, and that is the book. That is like the Bible to lead in any way. So if you have never checked out that book, go ahead and start on it now. And I love that. Yeah, anything you do, do it. Master the chapter before you get to the next one, for sure, right? Because once you master, you never have to go back. You master a section, because if you read the whole book, guess what you're going to have to go do? Go back to the beginning if you forgot about it, right? But if you master each chapter, it's like chapter 1 closed, chapter 2 closed, chapter 3 closed, and now you're on that stair step to getting better, right? Without having to go back at any time. So thank you for sharing that. Great morning, man. You guys are giving us good stuff today. I love it. I love it. Anybody else wants to share? Look at all our Facebook friends that hopped on.
Hi, Angel. I was just so inspired by Sekou sharing that it's just stimulated another thought, and I would like to share it. Well, you know, in terms of a 360-degree leader, you know, it tells us that we can lead from any place in an organization, that
Correct.
we don't have to be that top person. But I was thinking about, well, what stops us from doing that? And what came to me is that a lot of times our ego stops us from doing that. Either because our ego is underdeveloped and we don't have any self-confidence and we don't feel that we have true value, or sometimes our ego can even be overdeveloped and we think we know it all. And so we are not able to learn and grow because there's no space in the vessel because we are all full of ourselves. But the beings, they have not only been about investments and businesses and all of this, they're one of their main goals has always been leadership development. They develop leaders. And the way they influence people is to influence people through the people they teach how to influence. So, you know, as we grow and develop, we become influences, you know, following their pinnacle leadership. So, you know, that you know, really touched a spot in me, Sekou, your sharing of that nugget from the 360-degree leader, because Angel will remember at one time Mr. Bean had us in a book club doing John C. Maxwell. And, you know, he had each one of his leaders present on a chapter from one of the books. And we had to present to all the other leaders. And we never knew if it was going to be our week. He just gave each of us a chapter and said, be ready. And so, you know, how would you feel if you didn't know if when you came on the call, you were going to have to present that particular time? But what did that do? It developed in us the ability to be prepared, number one, to study a topic and learn it enough to be able to deliver it. So he influenced us. He inspired us to be able to do that. Mr. and Mrs. Bean are incredible. And one last thing I'd like to ask is, Sekou, could you please repeat the words? You don't have to repeat all the description, but the words, because I got lost in the middle.
Or if you
Thank you
can
so
type
much,
that
Angel.
out in the Facebook group, right?
Yeah, the words that
That
make
go
up
with
influence.
influence, each
Okay,
word.
well, I'll just read the words and I'll type it into the chat because I'm not on Facebook right now.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
So,
That would be great. And then someone can.
so I was integrity. N was nurturing. F was faith. L is listening. U is understanding. E is enlarging. N is navigating. C is connecting. And E is empowering.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you still want me to put it in the chat, Angel?
Please do.
Yes, please do. And then someone can copy it into our Facebook for our Facebook fam, our Foresight fam on the Facebook. And I love that what you just shared, Ms. Laura Johnson, because that is huge. That is the ego, right? The ego is keeping us from most of our dreams and goals. It's the wall, the blockage. And you made a very good point, because there's some people that you said that the ego of, having high ego, having low ego, right? But we also have, and I found out on my journey with Mr. and Mrs. Bean, that we also have um, what we call silent egos that we're not aware of. And those are what's keeping us, because yeah, we know if we're like high ego and we're just like full of ourselves. I mean, we get the sense, right? Or if we don't have enough ego and we're low ego, right? And we don't have the confidence, we can see that. But the silent ones, it has to be a 360-degree leader who can pull those out of you, because you cannot see it yourself. It has to be a third party that can pull those silent egos. Like one ego I'm going to share with you that I have, that I had no idea was an ego, right? Was my my giving of others, right? And never being able to receive. Did you know that was an ego too? Right? Did you know that's an ego? And how is it an ego, you're saying? But you just love to give. How is that an ego? The ego is, I find satisfactory in giving. So when people give me something, I never want to receive, because I want to be the giver. Crazy, isn't that? So when people say, thank you, Angel, I don't say I receive that and give me a compliment. I take it and I compliment them. So I'm giving them the compliment. I'm still on the side. My ego doesn't want to accept their receive it. I want to give instead. That's an ego, ladies and gentlemen. But we don't know that, right? So when we do that, when you finally that's what I had to work on. I had to work on receiving. I had to work on saying, thank you, I received that. And that's it, and walk away. Right? And because when you do that, and you think it's a great thing to always be giving but never receiving, the issue lies in that you'll never receive then. You'll always be giving, and then you'll run dry giving but never receiving. But you blocked your receiving. It wasn't somebody blocking it, it was you. Right? And so I had to learn that you have to give, but you also have to receive. And that was a huge lesson in me. And when I started learning how to receive and giving the other person, right? Giving that, I would say, giving that power to the other person to give to me. I wasn't relinquishing that power. And so I was blocking my blessings by not relinquishing that power and allowing me to receive. Because if you, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're not receiving just the little compliments, just the little things, right, then you're going to block the big blessings that are coming. Right. And so we got to be, you always want to be in counsel, because you always want to, there are silent egos. There are silent things that we cannot see, right? And that's what the GCU program is huge in developing, is now we're going to be able to see those things, right? Those are those limitations, those egos that we weren't aware of before. So thank you for sharing that. I love that. That's another huge word, right? Ego. And that's what's keeping everyone from their goals and their dreams. So once you find out what it is that's keeping you, now you're on that right path to continue, continue onto your journey and be able to, receive and be blessed more, right? So I love that, what you just shared, Miss Laura Johnson. Thank you for, adding on to that, because it's huge. It's huge. And sometimes, you have to step back, like every single time when 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 I get in trouble, and I do get in trouble with Mr. and Miss Bean, right? You cannot get in trouble sometimes. And when you do, you have to reflect. And I do, I sit back and I say, okay, why did I do it? What was my silent ego that propelled me to do that? And I need to self-correct, right? I need to learn this lesson so that I can move on, and I'll be able to bless my team, the people in my group, with what I'm able to learn from experience, right? And so that ego, yeah, sometimes you don't even think you're having an ego. But it's there. It's that silent assassin to your goals and dreams, and you definitely want to check that all the time at the door, if possible, right? And learn that lesson quickly, because the more that you can learn it, and the better that you can know yourself. And that's the GCU program. So who in here have found out a lot of things about themselves by enrolling in the GCU program, right? You've learned a lot about yourself. And that's what the goal is here, because in order for us to move forward, we have to self-reflect and see where it is in our life that we are keeping ourselves, right? How we can, we can move our financial thermostat, our self-development thermostat, all of that. How do we move the needle, right? And that's what you learn here, is how to do that. And especially with Mr. Bean's MMC calls, and everything like that, right? So thank you, Ms. Laura Johnson, for sharing that. And, like what I want to do also, during this reflection time is, hey, last week we're talking with Mr. Bean, and, and some of the things that he was sharing with us last week. So what I like to do with the panel that's here right now, like, why are you here? Right? I want each person to share, why are you here? Because the first person that has to be sold is you. Right? So why are you here? And what are your goals in the next year? It's just going to be a little simple, 2 minutes. Let us know why you're here and what you want to achieve in the next, year or two. All right. So who wants to start? Oh, Marva. Hello, lady.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I worked last night, so I'm just getting here. But I'd like to say hello and hope everything's going well for everyone. I'm here because even though I was late, I was like, you know what? I still have to go. I still have to show up for me. I still have to get what I can get, even though I might have missed some of this morning, and I apologize for just chiming in now. But I'm here to develop myself. I'm here to be able to learn to see how other people um receive me. You know, I looked at myself on the camera after my second role play and I said, wow, the power of my nonverbal along with the tone of what I actually said. I said, I wouldn't buy from me. She'd have to come back and she'd have to rebound from that, because I would have been like, oh, really? So I am working on changing how I deliver my message so that I can be more effective. Um, Everyone doesn't listen to your words. Sometimes they listen to your nonverbal more, and you don't know how the other person is listening. For lack of better words, how are they receiving you? How are they listening to you? So I'm working on that, what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. It's hard because that scared me when I was like, that I did that. That was me. So yeah, I'm working on the polish of the presentation when I communicate, my communication skills. And I'm grateful to be a part of this group because I'm learning how to do that. Every day you see examples on the sales call of how to do that. And I can't believe that anyone, if they had the ability, would not see the value in being a part of this investment group in themselves of $4 a day. Because 6 days a week, we have access to something that can help us grow being a part of this group. And I'm glad to be a part of this group. Second thing is, I want to grow my business and possibly start growing in another way if I can be a really good closer with the new venture that's coming up. So I'm excited to do that. By next year, I want to be able to go places and do things and be on a cruise with somebody so I can enjoy the downtime, the fruits of my reward. Yeah.
Great. And I love that. So for your what you want to do, you want to grow in the next 1 to 2 years, you said. What's the number on it?
There is no number. Whatever I can get, I'm going for it. So I know you have to set a goal so you can meet it. I know that. So we'll go for the first million.
All right. I love
We'll
that.
go for the first million in the
Okay.
next 2 years.
Yes. So the reason why I asked for specific numbers and even specific time is because we um as human beings, right? We say we want a lot of things, but it doesn't really come into fruition until our mind conceives the time and the dates. We run by goals. We run by setting goals with dates and with a specific amount that we're looking for. That's just how brains work, right? So if we just say, I want to grow, well, we're saying that we want to grow. So the universe is going to change for us to grow, but we could grow by $1. That's still growth. Does that make sense? So the more you put it into a picture where your brain can now start thinking about things. If you're saying $1 million, now the brain's got to pick up on little things because we walk around every day picking up, attracting, detracting, attracting. If your brain just says growth, well, $1 would be a growth. So they're like, okay, hey, look, you wanted growth? Here we go, $1, right? But if you're saying $1 million, now that's a different type of growth we need to be looking for, right? You're telling yourself and your brain to attract $1 million deal. Don't you think that's going to be a lot more specific on what the brain is what you're going to attract, right? You got to attract some $1 million deals here, or a opportunity that is going to be able to deliver that $1 million, right? So you want to be very specific on your visions, on your goal. Don't just say like, I want to, I want a mansion. Like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, right? Because what you picture and how specific you are is going to help you attract that specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, well, I guess I have to digress to mastering my micro habits that put me in the mindset to become, in a place where I'm developing and closing cycles to get to the million. Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's the beginning steps, right? It's your outline, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have the outline, and that's gonna be perfect, right? To get to where you are, because the thing with life is you don't change your goals, you just change the date, right? So let's say you did put that $1 million goal this year and it didn't work. It doesn't mean that you change your goal. You just got to change the date. Well, it could be next year, right? It could be 2 years from now. You want to keep your goal, but just change the date, right? Have you
So
seen those people who have made their first million? They didn't change the goal. They just changed the date. And it
so you
wasn't
have to have the roadmap first.
absolutely.
Start the journey. Okay.
Yep. Perfect. And you look
Thank
great, by the
you.
way, for getting off of work.
Crash.
I would have looked not presentable.
This is
Sure.
not presentable to me, but if it works on the camera, I'm good.
Yes, it is. You look great. So, all right, Miss Laura Johnson, I see
Thank
you
you.
there. What will you share with us on your why you're here and what you want to do in the next 1 to 2 years?
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was going to be me next, but I'm ready. Why am I here? Oh my God. Well, I am here because I have already experienced the world outside of being in this environment. Okay, this environment is supercharged to help an individual, any individual at any level, to grow and develop into a better person. And so now I'm here because I know this. I know it without a shadow of a doubt. And because I know it, I'm bound to the beings. And because they are the ones that have helped me become the person that I am. I mean, I came into the environment of the beings about 6 years ago. Now, I'm an older person, okay? I'm not young like a lot of you. I'm young in spirit, but my body tells me different. So, I have had a lot of experiences. I've had a lot of environments that I can grow in. I'm formally educated and I'm informally educated, and uh, I worked for over 40 years in close contact with people. So I'm very, very sensitive to people and who they are, what they bring. And so, being with the beings this last 6 years, so many things have solidified in my life that, I wouldn't be anywhere else because when you think about what we've learned about the 5%, and so if there's 5% that are, the leaders, the wealth, the developers in the world, that means there's the 95% that are not. So I want to be in the 5%. I don't want to be in the 95%. I want to have more influence over my own life and the direction of my life. And now at my stage, I'm also thinking about my legacy. I'm thinking about, my daughter and my grandchildren. And, will somebody remember me in 50, 100, 200 years? Did I Did I serve somebody? Did I help somebody? Did I uplift somebody in this short journey that we have called life? And I know that being here in this group, it helps me to meet those goals. You know, those big goals. And so I'm addicted to this environment. I can't go anywhere else because, the monkey's on my back, as they used to say in New York, in the streets. And so I can't go anywhere else. I can't go anywhere else. I mean, I can be involved in other things outside of here, but I'm never gonna let this go. I'm never gonna let this go, as long as I have breath in my life. And so what is my goal over the next 1 to 2 years? I have a goal to have a net worth of $5 million. And that will be with properties, businesses, cash, investments. And so my goal is to have a net worth of $5 million. And what you said, Angel, about you have to know a goal. Don't be afraid to state a goal, because creating a goal is free. It doesn't cost you a thing to create a goal. But what it does supercharge you into reverse engineering. Well, if I want this, how am I going to get there? So it begins this great creative machine that we have. It puts it into action. We've been told that we only use like 5% of our brain. So, what's the other 95% doing? Well, you want to start it up? Create a goal, create a vision, and you will start it up. But I got to tell you something. Whenever you do, Mr. Bean tells us all the time, you're going to be faced with violent opposition. Welcome it. Be grateful for it. And say, because that means I'm getting closer to my goal. So thank you, Angel.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I love that. So see, she has it down to what her net worth is going to be. I love that. I love that. 5 million in the next 1 to 2 years with all of that. And so I also want to say that yes, right, you're always going, whatever goal you set out, no matter what, you're going to be met with violent opposition. That is just standard for everyone. You can ask anybody who has done anything substantial, ask Elon Musk, was it a breeze? No, right? Ask, Jeff Bezos, was it a breeze? No, right? You're always going to be met with some violent, opposition in the beginning, and that's your test, right? Because what we overcome is going to strengthen us, right? So you got to strengthen yourself. So you got to strengthen whatever it is that you want to achieve. So it is just part of the obstacle that's going to get you to your dreams. And just knowing that it's going to happen is going to help you get through it faster, right? Because when you know that there's going to be obstacles, you already know, yep, this is a setup. Let me go ahead and, most people, what happens is when you face an obstacle, it's a distraction. So it's made for you to step on the brake, right? Most people want to step on the brake, but the people who know and whose goals and dreams are fast enough on the other side, and they know that, oh, this is the stepping point, they press on the gas, because the faster you get through is the setup for flying to the next stage. So the people who know, they step on the gas even harder, because they're like, I don't want to waste a minute in this challenge, right? I don't even want to waste a minute. So you can either step on the brake and you'll get over it. It's just gonna, you're gonna waste the time that it's gonna, distract you from your dreams and goals, or you're gonna step on the brake. Don't even let it waste a minute of your time and get to that next step faster, right? So those are the things that you have when it comes to the violent. And I've learned, trust me, I've been in the braking part for half of my life, and then the last part of my life, I'm like, no, I'm gonna step on the I'm stepping on the accelerator because I don't have enough life left to waste on another minute of this, right? Now, in my younger years, that would have been different. But in my older years, I'm like, oh no, I cannot be in this challenge anymore. What is the way out? What is the fastest way to the next step, right? And that's just you training yourself. And GCU is, I mean, it's like quick fire, right? When you on that rally call, you don't have time to like fumble around. It's like, okay, you got to learn fast on your feet. And that just helps you in every area of your life, right? That you're going to start learning fast on your feet. And I'm going to go to our Facebook fam on Facebook, and Shannon gives, hey, Shannon, I love that he says, I'm here so I can continue to grow. My goal is to double my income in a year, right? So he wants to double his income in a year. So like I said, Shannon, go ahead and put a number on it. What are we looking at? What's the double? What double? What is the number? Because now you can reverse engineer on how you can make that happen with what you have on hand or what is going to come, right? Because once you put that number on it, it's going to start calculating for you and moving you towards your goal. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that on our Facebook. And let's go back to us over here. Anybody else wants to share why they're here and what's your goal in the next 1 to 2 years? Yeah, say it into existence if you want it to happen, right? What better place to
Do you want to go first or should I?
go ahead, Siku.
Okay. Hi, Angel. Why am I here? I'm involved with many groups, and many of them have positive intent, but many of them don't always don't focus on opportunities to grow personally and to be challenged to grow personally. And so this group challenges you to grow personally, not only in your speaking and your presenting, but also expanding your mind based on what you're exposing yourself to, like the Grant Cardone modules, the rally calls, and other different perspectives that I would not normally see in my ordinary life. So I find that empowering. And also, I draw energy from a group of positive thinking minds. It's not just me with a positive mind, it's the collective positive mind of Crash Camp, the collective positive mind of the millionaire mindset. It's all those areas that feed my mind in a positive way that I greatly appreciate. And as far as a goal, I think I would share the same sentiment of the gentleman or person you just read, but my goal would be in 2 years to have equivalent income in passive income to my earned income. So that would be somewhere between 150 and 250 or 200,000 a year.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, CQ. I love what you shared because that is the reason why this was set up. That's the exact reason why Mr. and Mrs. Bean created this for us, because as they always do, their mission is to provide and protect. And the one thing that they always want us to protect is our mindset. They created this community so that we can be protected against the negativity of the world, right? Not that they mean any harm, but the people who love us the most aren't always the one that is going to give us the positive community that we need, right? To lift and grow. And so Mr. and Mrs. Bean has always been there to provide and protect their number one concern. And that is our mindset and our development. And I'm so grateful for them that they are always thinking one step ahead of us, right? Always. So thank you for sharing that. And I love your goal, right? Because now that you have that number, now you're going to see how things come about and I love that, because the reason why I share that is because I'm just like everyone else, right? Mr. Bean gave me that when he asked me last time, right? What did I want to do? I wanted to make $1 million in the next year. And when basically, when you say it into the world, you're manifesting it. And your attractions, your body and everything is going to find a solution for what it's a challenge that you created for yourself. Now you challenge yourself. You just said, I need $200,000. Now your brain has to figure out how to make that challenge happen, right? You force yourself to do things and to attract things that you wouldn't do if you didn't have placed that in your brain. So I love that. Yep, we got some more people over here in our Facebook fam. Mr. Tim Lambert, there you are. He says, I'm here to continue to grow into the man, the leader I am called to be. And my goal is to earn $250K in the next year. Love it, right? I am 100% the same, right? That's my same goals as you, except for the number, right? But I want to be that leader, and that for the people in my life, right? To help those people in my life. And then Linda, hi Linda. Welcome to a call. New names. I love it. She says, my goal is to be debt free and 30K in the bank in 3 months. 18 months, she wants a network of 3 million. Wow, right? She has cut it down. She has a 3-month goal and an 18-month goal, right? Love that, Linda. Okay, and then, Leslie says, I'm here to learn, grow, and develop into an effective and efficient individual. And she says that her goal in the next 1 to 2 years is to earn $1 million. Love that, love that. Same goals and same reason that I'm here as well, right? So I love that. I'm here. In the first 1 or 2 years of this GCU program, I was there for myself. Here now, in this space, I'm here for my team, not just for my team, but the people in my life and the people that are not like directly to me, but to help others that are indirectly and directly to me grow, right? And it's also the reason why I'm also here is to do thank you to the beans for everything that they've blessed for me. So, as I shared that with you all, that's why I'm here. And you all know my vision is $1 million at the end of this year. So my brain's already been calculating how that's going to work with all these new things that we're doing. And so I love that because Marva actually, shed light on that. But I see Miss Carla Wynn has her thing, so I think she needs to say something, but I'm going to move on to what Miss Marva said in a little bit. Miss Carla, what do you have for us?
So the reason why I'm here is to continue to grow and expand and in my confidence and certainty. And my goal this time in the next 2 years to earn my $1 million. To net my $1 million. That's awesome. It. That's all.
That's a winning number. Right? And I love that. So thank you for sharing what you want to do, because that's what we're here for, right? We want the self-development and being more confident in everything that we do, not just one thing, not just one business, but in all areas of our lives, right? We need confidence in everything. We need confidence as a partner. We need confidence as a parent. We need confidence in all areas. And what we learn here is not just sales. Remember, everything's is a sell. You got to sell. I have to sell a 12-year-old kid every single day on why they should listen to me and not listen to what's going on in their brain, right? The bundle of craziness in their brain, and why they need to listen to their mom, not because, not because of authority, because I don't want to be the authoritative parent, which I already am, but I want them to be influenced, right? Influence voluntarily, because once they step out in that world, I know as a teenager myself before, right? The authoritative leaves us, right? And we're out there to fend on our own, and I want them to voluntarily have my teachings in them as they step out into the real world. Because as we all know, the real world, we try to helicopter our children, but just like Mr. Bean trying to protect us in here, the real world will get us out there. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's as parents, because there are parents, right, in this entrepreneurship journey, to provide and protect and equip us with that knowledge and everything for when they're not around, right? When we're out there and faced with these type of things on our own, right? And so uh that's why I call them my rich dad and rich mom, right? In this thing. But thank you so much, Miss Carla. So back to what Miss Marva has said before, and she touched base, you touched base on our new platform that that has taken Mr. Bean away from us this morning, right? So that he can share um share with us when he gets back. And I'm like on pin and needles, right? Like, what is going on? What does he have? He's at a very private launch event, right? It's not for everyone. It's a very private pre-launch event. And so I'm so excited for this new transition that we're gonna go. And if you've seen his post, right, on Facebook, it only takes, when something takes the person from retirement, it's a huge deal, right? If they're coming out of retirement, you got to listen up. Like, what has gotten you out of retirement, right? So it's a great, if you not have not seen the video, go ahead and connect with your senior business partners, right? So they can share with you on the new platform that Mr. Bean is sharing. All your leaders should all have that. And they should be able to, they have access to it, and they should be able to share that with you. Today is the pre-launch day, so I don't want any of you guys to miss out on this opportunity of pre-launch. So this and what I'm excited about it the most is and Mr. Bean wants me to touch base on it a little bit, is our build network. And it's going to be it's going to be it's pre-launching right now with certain with some certain parameters, but what the goal of it is to add more as it continues to grow, right? So what's the great thing about being in a part of a pre-launch? It's in right now, it's in a couple of spaces. It's in the home and business space, is what it's geared for, right? So I don't want to, give it injustice by, trying to share this and that. So I'd rather you go ahead and get with your senior business partners and, get that video, watch that video. Right now, pre-launch is free. So everyone can afford free. Go ahead and get a position for yourself, and then make a decision later. But what you don't want to do is not position yourself, right? And position is everything. I'd rather you position yourself and then go through the videos and think about it and make a decision on whether you want to move forward but not lose that position, right? Than to not, because it's free. And the pre-launch is today. So as you know, on pre-launches, if you ever been a part of a new company that pre-launches, it's pretty huge deal when it pre-launches. And it could take you from, it could, on a pre-launch, it could be anywhere upwards of thousands of people coming in. And positioning yourself is free. So get back to your senior business partners and make sure to just grab a position. No big worries if you want to do something or not do something, at least you have that position there. So but I'm excited about it because Mr. and Mrs. Bean is always, like I said, they always have a step forward to us, step ahead of us on knowing what we need when we need it, right? And we have a couple of passive income streams that are in our way, but what they've seen for us is, like you say, you see all of our goals. All of our goals is $1 million, right? And so what I love about it is this is high ticket. I mean, if you watch the video, it's high ticket. And so if you have that $1 million goal, you can actually reverse and see how that can happen for you in this. And there's just so many different aspects of it that I love that you can do. If you're a builder, great. There's a way for you to build. If you want a career, right? If you actually want a career and a solid business that's government backed, you can have that for you, right? And then if you want to just be a referral, you don't want to do anything else, you'll refer here and there. And once, and that's it, they have something for you. So, take that time, watch the video, get it back there. And I'm excited because it has something for everyone. You actually can get licensed here as well in this business. And if you want to be a license, you'll be making a lot of money that way. Tell you that, right? Because of the way that this company is structured. So, on from that, we're gonna go ahead. And what I love is I want to go ahead. Yes, Miss Laura, take first movers advantage. And all of you can afford free to move. So lock in your positions, right? Oh, Miss Carla, go ahead. You have something you want to ask?
I wanted to jump into my role play once you're done. Mm-hmm.
Oh, once we're done. Yes. So we're going to not do the role play today, right? What we're gonna do is I want to share some of the things that are in the modules today.
Oh, great, excellent.
Yes. So we're gonna share some things that I learned and doing in the modules, and I want to actually do some work from the modules, right? So let's go ahead and do that really quick. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So I want to, I'm going to share the screen, and I just want everybody to, in the Facebook world, to kind of like take a sneak peek of what we actually get in these modules, right? So here is an example of our modules, right? And the perfect sales process, right? For those of you who are here in the GCU program, I know you guys already watched some of this stuff, right? And I have too, right? And so this is more for our Facebook audience, right? We have a lot of new members. who has never, you know, seen what we always talk about how great it is, but you never know how great it is, right? So I'm not going to go into it, you know, because you have to have access. But what I want you to see is that this is a breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever want to learn something like you want to learn in a university that you want to go, this is a university that when you graduate, the money comes with it. Okay. Not when you graduate, you know, you know, you have like regular university, you have to take economics that you never even use anymore, right? Like I went to economics, like what am I using that for, right? Or I went to calculus 2. What do we need? Deviations. I'm not an engineer, right? So here though, if you can see, like it's a breakdown. I mean, when you want to talk about how do you do the perfect greeting, how do you even do problems, right? Like you can see right here, how to handle problems. It's anything that you ever have any questions about, here it is. So when Mr. and Mrs. Bean talk about how 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 affordable that they've made it for us, ladies and gentlemen, I have people who I've met throughout going through, you know, cold calls who actually paid thousands of dollars for this access right here. They don't even want to tell me how much. I'm like, how much did you pay for the GCU? Oh, you don't want me to tell you. I don't even want to tell you. Like that's what they're, and I just left it at that. Right. And so we're talking about, you know, what thousands of dollars that Mr. and Mrs. Mean have given you for 150 a month, you know, because of what they're able to do. And the savings is exponential when you compare it to how much you actually make from what you learn. But look, you can go in and what do you need to work on, right? We always go, what do we need to work on and what do we want to enhance? Because we all have our weaknesses and we all have our strengths, right? So you want to work on your strengths, but you also want to work on your weaknesses as well, right? And then you'll become that rounded 360, right? So that's what I wanted to share in there. But what I really wanted to share, I'm going to stop the share now, is that going through these modules, okay? So going through these modules, ladies and gentlemen, what do you feel? Let's see for those who are here. What going through the modules, what do you feel is your strength and what are your weaknesses on this platform? So, Miss Carla, go ahead.
Okay, so an area of strength for me has been and continues to be the greeting. Area of growth is being able to handle different situations that come up within the fact-finding section. So what are some tools that I can use to both do fact-finding, and also what are the different ways that I can follow up so that it doesn't become boring or I'm not annoying to the prospect that I'm working with.
Awesome.
And there are a whole lot of different ways in which a person can follow up.
Correct. Perfect. Okay. So you're working on your fact finding and your follow-ups. And your follow-ups. What
Yes.
have you found that are your strengths?
Well, one of the areas of strength is that this also goes with the Clifton Strength Finders as well, because I've done this Clifton Strength Finders, and the areas of Clifton Strength Finders for me are individualization, woo, which is wowing other people, wowing others, connectedness, learner, and communication. So those are my 5 Clifton strengths. And so how do I combine that with how I greet people and the attitude that I show up with and things of that nature? So it's that whole combination of things that, and then also, you know, having done Myers-Briggs type indicator, MTBI, and my MTBI is is extra NT with ENTJ, which is the extroversion side. So combining all of those, knowing when and how to execute all of the things that I have experienced and learned in those specific strengths, and also knowing when those strengths can be overpowering and how to step back and to listen in a different way. So the biggest thing is that listening. Thank you
Awesome.
for allowing me for sharing all of the things.
Well, thank you for sharing. And that's the thing. Sometimes we just concentrate on what we need to work on, but we're not polishing or mastering our strengths too, right? So you want to do both. You want to master whatever you already have strengths, you want to just master it to where you can actually teach it. And then our weaknesses, we want to get better and better on them. So you want to do both, right? And then pretty soon you'll master the whole program, right? If you keep on doing a little bit at a time. Remember how you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And if you just keep on doing that one bite, by the end of a year, by the end of 2 years, you're going to be able to be a master of the whole program, right? And the people that make the most money are the ones that teach, right? So when you learn how to first go through the program, then you will learn how to give to others, right? Teach others the learning process. Now you'll be able to have your own program, right? So great. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so who else wants to share their strengths and their weaknesses? Anybody? That while you're going through the modules. Miss Marva, you look like you want to share something. You're laughing over there.
Well, yeah, my certainty, I have no problem conveying certainty. I just have to, my delivery has to be a little bit smoother. So yeah, that's my biggest challenge right now
Mhm.
is delivering to delivery to be heard.
Okay.
Um my, because my nonverbal is so strong, I have to focus on how I look when I say what I say so that they actually hear what I'm saying. So I think I'd be a great telemarketer because they can't see me. Um, but as long as they hear it, and they can absorb what I'm saying without my expression, then I'll be fine. But I'm gonna, yeah, have to work on my delivery and how other people view me when I'm delivering. I think that's my main thing right now.
Awesome, great. So for you, to say for delivery, and that's just, just like it's, like when you're even as a telemarketer, they can feel your delivery even if you're not delivering it. And so if you're talking with a smile the whole time, you can actually hear a smile, right? Like you can tell the difference when a person is smiling. Like, see, I saw you smiling, see? Earlier. That's why I called on you, right? So when a person smiles, it's just that energy that you give on the smile. And when you gave me that energy, I was like, okay, Miss Marva, what you got? Right? You compel me towards you with a smile, right? And have you seen people that you go walking around and you when you want to talk to a person, you're looking for a person with a smile, not the grumpy one, right? Definitely not the grumpy one, right? Like he's having a bad day. Let's not talk to him today, right? And so, children already learn that from the beginning, right? They creep over there, they got something on their agenda, they creep over there, they look at you, and you're like frustrated at something. They're like, oh, they ever like, hey mom, and you're like, oh, and they're like, what do you want? And they're like, oh, nothing. They creep back out. They already have it in tune, right? Just like all of us, we have that in tune. When we see our brains, when we see something like that, are like, not now, not now, abort mission, right? So we already have that in us. That's just a natural thing. So when we are faced with someone who doesn't have that, like you said, not a smile, and things like that, you can work on that in the mirror, right? So do your scripts in the mirror. And then that way you can see how you look to the other person when you're delivering. So that's the best way to, like, so many people give speeches by looking in the mirror, and doing their speeches, right? So mirror would help your delivery, helping you learn how to deliver, right? When you're saying your lines, because it's really hard. You don't have to always just go on the rally calls and see how you're delivering. You can do it in the mirror, right? And so that you can kind of see what the other person is seeing when you're doing your delivery. But yeah, you want it always be lighthearted, humor. But like he says, though, Grant says there's a certain places to be humor and certain places not. So when you're in like the presentation and things like that, I think you could, like if you always just what I do, and also to keep it lighthearted in delivery, I always have a point of making a conversation, turning a presentation into a conversation. So get a lot of feedback from the person that you're talking to, right? And that's where you'll be able to also gauge how you're portraying yourself with their response to you, right? So if they're, distracted or whatever, then there's something that's not going well, right? So that's why I always start out, I never give a presentation, to be honest. I'm always like, let's have a conversation, right? Let's get to know each other first before we get started, right? So that way, because remember, in a in a conversation, when you have conversations with people and you're connecting with people, it's always whatever you do first, they reciprocate, right? So if you say, let's get to know each other, but then they will start talking about themselves, which people love to talk while you're taking notes on them. And then what's the next question they're going to ask you? Well, what about you? What do you do? So that's my way of getting to people to ask me instead of me asking them. Hey, what do you do? Right? Awkward silence. I don't really feel like telling you. Da, da, da. Well, hey, let's get to know each other. Tell me what you do. And they're like, oh, yeah, I love talking about myself. Okay, yeah, this is what I do. This is what I do. And then after they run out of things to say, they're going to be like, oh, well, what do you do? Right? So it's the same thing when you do the form, right? You're asking the form technique family, because most likely once you ask family, they'll ask what's your family. And a lot of times when you ask for occupation, what they do, they ask you what you do. So if you ever want a person to tell you something without asking them, go ahead and do it first. Like for instance, right? For instance, I don't ask people for their phone number. Hey, can I give you my contact? I didn't ask them for their number, but guess what? I'm gonna have their number. Why? Because I gave them my contact. So how am I gonna give you my contact? You gotta give me your cell number for me to give you my contact. Right? So you can, it's just a less aggressive way, right? You get the same results in a less aggressive manner by doing it first, by sharing versus asking, right? Right. And so it's just less aggressive because you're not getting into their personal business. You're giving them your information, but at the end of the day, that information is going on to a cell phone that now you can say, hey, let me go ahead. And this is the follow-up that Carla was talking about. Like, hey, let me go ahead and say, hi, text, hi, Carla. Pleasure meeting you today, Angel. Now you have their name, and you can save it at another time, but you set them your contact. Now you're in connection, right? So those are the type of things that you can do, you know, that's going to help you with like Ms. Carla said, your follow-ups, right? Fact-finding questions, fact-finding questions is a huge deal because that is going to give you the information that you need to actually get them to make a decision. Without the fact-finding questions, they're not going to make I would say a solid decision, because there's people that, act on the fly and they're like, yeah, I'll sign up to everything. And they sign up and then a week later they sign out, right? But if you want a solid decision, then the fact finding is going to give you that solid decision that Miss Carla has said, right? And the fact finding questions are whatever it pertains to for what you're looking for, right? Like for entrepreneurship, what's a good fact-finding question for like people who want to be entrepreneurs, right? It's the same thing that we asked today. Most people who want to become an entrepreneur, why do you want to be an entrepreneur and why now? Right? Because a lot of people want to be an entrepreneur since they turn 18, but they're really serious about it now. So why now? Right? Entrepreneurship, why most of them? Because they want financial freedom, right? But why now is the sense of urgency. Because that's going to test your person. When you say why now, like how serious are you? When you say why now, they're like, I've been at my job for 40 years. I'm tired. People have been laying off. There's why now? Why it's urgent for them right now versus a person that will say, I don't know, right? I'm not sure. Well, I was just looking. Now you kind of know where they are, right? Everything that you do and every fact and questions is always you checking the temperature of your client. Like, right? It's always checking the temperature of where your client is. How urgent is this to them? How important is it? So that's why some of these questions, like, how important is it for you to make that $1 million in the next year? Right? How important? Because that's going to tell you, that's going to lead that person down to a decision. If they say on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it? 10 being that very important, 1 being not so important. If they want to make that $1 million, they're going to say, oh, that's a 10. It's very important. Well, if it's very important, then do you have 5 minutes? So I can hop on a Zoom and show you. Or do you have 5 minutes so I can send you this video? Right? So fact-finding questions is going to help you with urgency. Without the fact-finding questions, it's like you saying that you want to I just want to make money next year. Right? It's also the same thing for your clients. You also have to give them a picture so that they can make a decision for themselves. So I love that. Those two things are awesome. Yeah, that you shared. Okay, anybody else who wants to share what your strengths and weaknesses are?
Hey, it's me, Laura.
I see that smile. Yes, ma'am.
One of my strengths, my smile. Okay, so I think my strengths are my ability to listen to what's being said to me. And I have a certain, I believe, high level of sensitivity to what a person says to me. So I think that's a strength, because in the fact finding process, you have to be able to identify what a person is saying to you. And sometimes people rattle on. And so you have to be able to identify what's most important to them. And so I think I have that ability to flesh that out and to listen and to be sensitive to people in that way. An area of growth for me is I sometimes have a challenge buying people's excuses. So, you talk about sell or be sold. So a person can tell me their reason why they are not doing something. And sometimes I can get pulled into that. So, buying a person's excuses. I'm working on that, working on becoming, as they say in Grant Cardone, more unreasonable. Stop being so reasonable, because one of the things they say about being more unreasonable is that, your own belief has to increase in the fact that you can actually help a person, that what you have or what you're doing can be beneficial. So that means that I have to work on myself and remove any type of doubts that may be in there, because we're told that we create our own objections. So yeah, so those are my strengths and weaknesses, or areas of growth as I see them right now.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Laura Johnson. And that's a huge thing for us to, identify is, our strengths and our areas of improvements, right? So because once you know what your strengths are and your areas of improvement, now you can really start to isolate it and work on it and build it up. So as you said, all of us, it's not just you, but I believe all of us we are the reason for our objections, right? So somewhere in our life, we are doing it. So when you start to identify what areas of life you're doing that in, that you're getting the objections, you'll be able to uh, to 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 bypass those objections. And as you first start, you're gonna be set with a bunch of objections, and then finally, once you start growing in the process of fine-tuning your sales process, right? All of our we go through the whole sales process, but you're going to be fine-tuning your sales process to where at the end of that conversation, you're going to be the only objective that they're going to have is the one of I don't have the money, right? Because everything else is not really valid objection, right? The only objection that is really valid is the I don't have money to get started, right? And I would tell you the new one, like that's not even an objective now. You can't afford free, then that means that you're somewhere along the line, you don't either like me Just tell me the truth, right? Is it me? Is it the company? Or, because free is for everyone, right? So when you tell me that it's a hard no, then it's either a hard no for a no. It's either a no to me, no to the company, or you don't believe in the products, the company, or me, right? And those fact-finding questions are, again, right? That type of question is going to let you know, like, why this person, right? Or why this person doesn't want to move forward. And it's good knowledge for you to know, right? Because now you're really getting to know that person and what they like and what they dislike. So that maybe this opportunity may not be for them. And you're going to learn, like, oh, you know what? I don't like it because XYZ, right? The company is not for me, or the product is not for me, right? Or, maybe I haven't got it yet, but, maybe they say, yeah, you shared me a bunch of things and I don't know, Angel, right? I don't know, Angel, right? How this one is going to turn out. And I'm going to say, great, well, thank you for being transparent with me so that I know how to move forward with you, right? And how to move forward, later. Because I'm still taking that as a not now. You're just saying that you don't trust me because you don't know how the company is and you know that I'm new. Well, let me come back to you 6 months later when I'm making all this money and I got all this evidence, and I'm going to say, yeah, I know I shared a lot of things and it didn't plan out, but look at that's why I took 6 months to create this result for you. Right? I'm going to come back. Okay, not for you now. I get it. Let me go create the results that you need, right? Because you need results. You don't believe in my words. And I get it, right? I get it. And so let me go ahead and create the results you want. So those type of questions, don't be afraid to ask, because they're going to give you a lot of, save you a lot of headache. Right? We're just so afraid of asking questions because we have that inner fear of I'm prying. But to be honest, transparency allows you, and this is the other, my ego, right? Ego. My ego thinking that I am helping the other person by not being transparent and asking the transparent questions versus allowing them to be transparent with me by asking the transparent questions. Right? Because when you really care about the person that you're talking to, you want to know why. Think about it. Forget what society told us. If you really care about the person on the other line, you're going to ask why. Right? Because you want to know why. How many times in life have you sat there and you want to ask a question, but you never ask it because you always thought it was prying? Most of my life. And I never got closer to people than now when I'm more transparent with people. I'm opening the door by being transparent and asking these hard questions. They're not really hard, but we deem it hard because it's hard for us to get it out of our mouths, right? Well, they say it's the hard questions, but it's really the opening, connecting questions. because it opens the door for you to really connect to that client. It takes it from client A to Marva, right? Because sometimes in the business, you're just talking to so many people, but you're not connecting to so many people. So when you you take that time and that connection, and 6 months later, Marva, I'm calling you up and saying, hey, I listened to you. I understood your concerns, but guess what? I got evidence of how much it's working. Are you going to listen to me then, Marva? Because I took the time to listen to your concerns and come back with what you needed me to come back with, not what I wanted to come back with, right? I gave you what you needed, right? Because in this space, sometimes we give people what we think they needed, but we don't give them what they need. And that's the difference between helping them making decision or kind of pulling them along, right? So yeah, you guys bringing some good stuff today. Wow, because this is the inner workings, right? Forget the mechanics, right? The mechanics is easy. The how, like I said, the how is always easy. Once you figure out the why, once you figure out why this person is the way they are, moving them through the sales process is going to be easy. Right? Moving them through the sales process to make a decision is going to be easier if you take the time in the beginning, right? And getting the fact-finding questions and all of that. Then the presentation, all of that, that could be like 5 minutes. Right? That could take like 5-10 minutes. It doesn't even matter. But when you do it in the beginning and you ask these questions, and every single time, remember, objections. Most of them are the first or second objections are never the real objections. They're never the real objections. They're just giving you candid answers that they think will just not, so they don't have to make a decision. Most people don't want to, the hardest thing is making a decision, right? So they're going to give you stuff. So they're like, I don't want to make a decision now, Angel. So I'm going to give you something crazy. So are you going to buy it? Are you going to now, right? Remember, everything's buy or sell. So if you buy their objection, then the transaction has ended right there. You just bought. But if you agree, now you always want to agree, and listen is the next one, right? So agree. Yeah, I get it. Right? I get how you feel. I understand. No worries, right? Besides that, if I'm able to, besides that, is there any other concerns you have? Right? So now that you bypass the first one, they're like, ah, I gotta give her another one. All right, let me throw something at her, right? And then you're gonna say, okay, right? Besides that, but remember, you always want to, when they throw it at you, like let's say, um, what's a good objection? Someone give me a good objection that you heard.
I need more time to make a decision.
Okay. I need more time to make, yeah, there we go. I need more time to make this decision. Absolutely. Of course you need time. Right? I don't expect you to make a decision right now. Now, see, I agreed, right? And then I said, well, besides time, What else? What else? Right, Miss Laura, you're right there. What else? Besides time, what else?
Well, I just need to think about it.
Is that it? You just need time to think? Is there any other concerns you have besides the time?
Well, you know, the price, I need to think about the price.
Oh, the price. I get it. Yeah, of course, everybody needs to know about the price. What about the price?
Well, I'm not sure it can fit into my budget.
Okay, I get it. Of course, right? Who's gonna who now when you're talking about fitting it into the budget, does it mean that you you have the money, but you just don't see the value in it to put it in the budget? Or does that mean that you just don't have the budget for it at all?
Well, I need to see if it's worth me spending the money for it.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, I get it. Why would you put money out for something that you don't see the value in it, right? That's my fault. Let me show you, right? Do you have 3 minutes so I can show you?
Yeah, show me what? I thought you already showed me everything.
Yeah, so show you how that is going to be valuable to you, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, Miss Laura, you told me that you wanted to have a $5 million net worth in the next year, right? How important is that to you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, it's my goal. It's very important to me. It's a 10.
Absolutely, right? Goals are always a 10 to me too. So if I can show you how that's going to get you to that 5 million, is it worth taking the time out for a 3 minute conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 minutes. I don't know how you're gonna show it to me in 3 minutes, but sure, I can take 3 minutes
Absolutely.
out.
Yes, because you know what I want to do, I know I've already, shown you the presentation and everything like that, but what I want to do is I know that you have concerns and you have this portfolio of 5 million that you want to reach. And so I want to make sure to get you in to be, in the audience of one of my mentors, right? I call him my rich dad and rich mom, not because of just the amount of income that they have been able to gain throughout the years, right? But because of um, the path that they have paved for so many others like myself to be able to hit our goals and dreams. And so I want to make sure that you're going to be able to have access to that and be able to map out and be able to see how this will make that 5 million an accessible goal for you.
That sounds good. I'd love to talk with them.
Absolutely. So now they're very busy, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get them at this time. What are let's say, give me 2 times, one today and tomorrow. Would you say around 3 p.m. today or 11 a.m. tomorrow work for you so that I can give them 2 possible choices?
Yes, those times work.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now that I got you down for those times with Mr. Bean, I need to ask you, why are you giving us this time?
Well, the reason I'm giving you the time is because um I do have my goal of reaching a net worth of $5 million. And you said that, this can possibly help me do that more quickly. And so I'm willing to listen, because I don't want to spend, and move away from my goal. But if it's something that will move me closer to my goal, I'm willing to take the time out and find out what it is.
All right. Well, perfect. That is our intention of the call. So let me go ahead and put that on the calendar, and I will get with Mr. Bean and solidify that time for you. So we'll be chatting with you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And so you see how once you're able to really solidify the first, she said the time. I mean, time is, everybody has the same 24 hours. So time is definitely not, right? It's the value. And I knew it. You knew that it's the value. It's always the value. They just don't think that it's valuable enough to put time into it. They don't think it's valuable enough to put money into it. So you have to assess and say, that's my fault. I have not delivered the value. So now I need to deliver the value. Right? Because at the end of the day, anything that happened is your fault. Right? So I told her, oh, that's the nail. I didn't show you enough value in the presentation. Let me take myself out. Let me get my expert in here to show you the real value. Right? So that's why it's so important to ask these questions. Did you see what the questions that I asked, right? I asked her that one to tell. How important is it to her? I have to gauge how important. If she said it's just a 2 or 3, well, right? She's not serious. Right? So how do we get you to that 10, right? She's not very serious. You have to gauge where your customer is at, because the not now is because they're not serious right now, right? You're gauging the temperature. Right? And she needs more information and time. And you're like, yeah, I can give you loads of information. That's not a problem, right? You want information, I can send you videos, I can do that. Is definitely not a problem, right? But what is your real concern? Because most people are not going to tell you their real concern until you actually deep dive and ask what else besides time, right? And you always have to agree, right? Agree and listen is really the two most things that we bypass, right? I listened to her concern, but I asked her some specific questions on her concern. I didn't allow her to give me a generalization. She just said, the money. The money could be a lot of things. What do you mean by the money? You mean that you can't afford it? Or that you don't see value in it? And she said, yeah, I don't know if I want to put it on my budget. Right? She doesn't know if she wants to put it on her budget. So she has the money. So you're talking to a qualified person. Now, what you have to do is show this person how valuable it is to put it into the budget. And it's based on how valuable having a net worth of 5 million is to her. Right? It's based on how valuable having a net worth is to her for her to make that decision. So those are like the little things that we often don't see in the overall picture. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why we need GCU. right? We're not hyping it up, right? I mean, there's a lot of hype in the world, you know, and I'm not a big hype person, right? I'm very green. Let me see the research behind it. Let me see all the numbers, you know, crunching the numbers, all of that, right? That's me, right? So when what I'm showing you right now is the result of 3 years of the GCU program. I wasn't this smooth before, right? I didn't know what to say before. If you were to call on me before, my mind would go blank, literally. And even if I knew what to say, I didn't know what to say. Because my fear of being called on just blanked me out to everything. But being on the GC program and doing these exercises every single day, you can call on me now and I can pull something to say from from everything that I learned, right? And so that's the same thing that everybody has access here to do. You can do the same thing. You can have a repertoire of scripts, things to say, questions to ask. I used to have note cards, right, Laura? Note cards, objections written down, outlines. And now I don't need any of that. What Laura just threw at me, I can sit there and I can go with the flow. You know, when you see me talking to her, it's not from me pulling out any notes. It's not from me. It's already in my brain from what? From GCU, from every single day, every Saturday, learning on the GCU program, right? It's from that I'm able to now just flow without really having to think. I have a little GCU factory in there I can pull from now. Right? But it didn't happen the very first day, I'll tell you that. Right? It doesn't happen right away. So that's why I'm sharing this program, I mean, because it's helped so many people, right? It's helped all of us grow. All the people you see here on the panel, and some that from the very beginning of this crash camp, right? Who have been here over the years, and you saw them raise their hand. When I asked, who has really changed, felt like they've changed from this program, right? So let me go ahead and let me share the screen for those of you who, right, here's our crash camp that we have every Saturday, and get with your senior business partners. If you want to be a part of our crash camps, if you want to be a part of the GCU program, you know, get with your sponsors. Here's the program right here that you can get your memberships, right? www.foresight.mg.com, right? I'm telling you, if this is the year that you want to find your purpose, this is the year that you want to really change into what it is that you're looking for, right? To create a new you, this is it. Right? And you can go into Foresight Foresight-mg.com, right there, foresight-mg.com. And you'll be able to start your journey. And what better way to start your journey than the beginning of this year, right? This is where the best time to start a new you, for sure, right? And it's going to I want to see your growth. Every single person here, I've seen their growth, right? Miss Marva, look at her confidence, right? Oh my God, skyrocket, right? Right? Miss Carla Wynn. I remember the time when you never wanted to go first. Talk about everybody's journey. My journey was don't pick me, Mr. Bean, don't pick me, right? That's what I have in my head when he was when he would call on people, right? You know, in the beginning, because it is one of the hardest decisions you're gonna make, but it's going to be a great decision for you in the long run, because Mr. and Mrs. Bean always put things together for us, right? And so that's why I always do, be a part of everything, because there's a reason behind it, right? And everything that we have gone through, there's a reason for the season, right? And I'm going to tell you that I have learned and grow so much through the good, through the bad, but by far, right? Like if you're a trader like me, what happens? You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses, but your wins outweigh your losses, right? And that's what we have here, because we have a continuous winning circle. And I'm so happy to be a part of that circle with you all, and being able to be honored and privileged to serve you all and watch everyone, including myself, grow through this process. So I thank you all for a great, great Saturday turnout. I'm excited as what our year is going to be this year, ladies and gentlemen. But I know that what we're going to do it together and stronger and better this year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great, fantastic Saturday. And we'll see you, same channel, next week. Have a great one. Bye for now.